Can you hear me?
For those of you who are only being blessed by my dulce tones, I am in fact holding a physical copy of Sinner's Island. I suddenly feel emotional. Bad singing and all.
She looks good in your hands, Melanie. She looks good in your hands.
Yeah, she's there. There's Goose having a little crisis in the background.
Sorry, hold on. Let me get a water. I'm feeling verklempt all of a sudden.
It was my operatic tones. It got us both emotional. The voice of an angel, some have said.
Yes. Yes, it shook something in my core. It really did.
That's probably just your morning poop that
Girl, it's 5 in the afternoon, so
okay.
speak for
Valid.
yourself. Speak for yourself.
Okay, I've had my coffee cleanse this morning already. Cackle, cackle.
Cackle, cackle. LOL.
Anyway, I'm just hugging her in your presence because yeah, it looks right that she's here. And
Yes.
since I've got 2 copies now, my precious copy that she signed for me, which is my treasure now, I'll probably give that one away.
Yeah.
I say probably like I haven't decided yet. I might need 2 copies.
You never know. You never know. Yeah, I'm happy to give away one of mine as well. You
Yeah,
can probably see there's a stack right there,
I didn't
and then
see.
there's a stack over there behind that, whatever that thing is, a reindeer.
What is that? Christmas alpaca? It's not a reindeer, mate. That's
It
not.
is. It's a Christmas llama. I forgot.
I love it.
Look
Speaking
at his little
of
socks.
elf, it looks like something that belongs in the house of Elf.
That's right. Our favorite. Is Elf your favorite Christmas movie?
I think it probably is. It's the one that I've already rewatched it this season.
You're ahead of the game. Good for
I'm
you.
ahead. I don't know why it just bring. You know what? Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey. There's a couple of them. When I was younger, I thought they were absolute morons. But the older I've gotten, they've become like, especially Will Ferrell, he's just what he does in his acting to me is just like so masterful. It seems silly, but it's not. Like
No,
what he
no.
does is incredible. And the older I get, the more I'm just like a Will Ferrell worshiper. So
Oh
I
yeah.
appreciate it more every time.
Yes. No, he's a genius and hilarious. And Elf is just like a magical
Yeah.
book. So, I mean, not book. It's not a book. It's a movie.
But speaking of magical things, I mean, welcome to the show, first of all. Do you
Oh
want to
yeah.
introduce us?
Oh yeah. Welcome to Of the Publishing Persuasion. I am Angela Montoya, author of Sinner's Isle that's out. So please purchase it. Please buy it. And you don't have to read it. Just buy it. That would be very helpful. That's what I've been telling all my family. You buy it, don't
Yeah.
read it. It's fine. It's fine. And I am here with Melanie Schubert, who is looking sexy in a shirt that looks rather difficult to put on correctly.
But
But
you
it
just have
looks
to pretend it's a t-shirt and go through this hole.
okay. So Melanie has found the hole, and
I
I'm
found
proud of
the
her for
hole.
that. She is well, wait, have we even made the announcement about your anthology? Have
No,
we done
not
the
on the
anthology?
show. Not on the show.
Okay.
We
Okay. Oh,
can.
she's getting shy.
I
She's
feel
getting shy.
shy.
Okay, guys, we have an announcement that Melanie has yet to announce on the show because we've been on a little mini hiatus. Melanie, look at her getting all shy and
I feel
cute.
shy.
She's fidgeting with her
I'm
fingers. Melanie,
fidgeting.
tell tell our listeners the amazing news you have.
Well, I was not ready. I'll say that.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry, but
not right.
we're
No,
going in.
but like I was like getting ready to fully grill you about debut month, but we can have a short moment. Yeah, it's honestly like to be honest, it's one of those honestly. How many times are
Yes,
you gonna say
be
honestly?
honest.
But
Be
I don't know
honest.
if you felt like this when something like finally trickled in through publishing land, but it doesn't really feel real. Like I kind of have to remind, this is so wanky, but I put a screenshot of the acceptance as my screensaver.
Good.
So I can like remind myself, no, things do happen in publishing land.
Yes.
So it's I wrote like this spooky, like it's gory and dark, probably the goriest, darkest thing I've written. Although I will say in doing it, I tried to keep humor where I could. Like it's not completely serious, even though it deals with really dark stuff. So yeah, like our lovely friend Katya de Bessera, as we know, she's an anthology queen. And when we
Yes.
had her on, it kind of got me questioning, like, because I think I've just been a little fixated with getting an agent. I think like it maybe consumed me a little too much, which is good. You need obsession in this industry. I'm just gonna say, I think you need a bit of it. But I kind of wanted to just do something to take the pressure off. And I saw she'd had like multiple anthologies come out this year. And I was like, oh, just be brave and ask, where like I don't even know anything about anthologies really. So I just asked her, like, how do you get all these opportunities? You know, like, is it? And she's like, oh, it's a mixture of like being requested and like there's open opportunities. And yeah, I was like, well, if you ever hear of any that, you know, like I'd love to try, do one. And so yeah, this opportunity came up and I was like, given the theme of revenge. And I just kind of like, I actually think having a theme to like box my creativity, or not box it, but like, you know, rein it into something productive really helped.
Yeah.
Because I just like really just sat with it and thought about like what would really make me vengeful. I had a couple ideas, but then the one I went with, it's really dark, but I'm really proud of it too. Like it's one of my proudest things I've written. I don't know if I'm gonna be, I think I'm still more Will Ferrell and less Tim Burton. Like, I don't think I'm going to go too heavily into horror because it does, yeah, it weighs. I realize if I'm writing too dark, it's also heavy. But yeah, sorry, you know, this is the most ADHD version of things. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I just thought I'll give it a go, just take the pressure off querying and just, yeah, the great thing about writing a short story is it's short. And I really was able to condense like the ideas I had into this, you know, 3,500 words or whatever. And yeah, I submitted it and I got accepted. I got accepted in. So I'm going to be in the next Castle Bridge Media Castle of Horror anthology series.
Wow. That is so freaking amazing. Like, it makes me so happy. And I'm scared to read your words because Katya is like the queen of horror. And she was in my DMs bragging about you. So I can only imagine what you wrote. And I just read like a little clip or like your synopsis. And I was already like, holy shit. So Melanie went there. I'm so freaking excited. Do you know like when it publishes or like what the
next year? I think next year is what they're saying. I've signed my contract, so that was exciting.
Oh my god.
Like I actually had an official contract. I was like, damn.
Did you take pictures of you like signing and like making it a thing?
No.
What?
Did you? It wasn't a paper contract, it was digital. Actually,
right, but you just fake it. Fake like you're signing. You know, you gotta give the gram what we want, Melanie. We need
Bill
pictures.
might have taken a photo. I can't remember if he was home when I did it. I think when it came through, I was just like so overwhelmed with emotion. I wanted to immediately send it.
Yes.
So I just like filled it out straight away and sent it back. So
oh my god, congratulations. That is so freaking exciting. I might have to paint my body with the cover.
I'll live to see it. I forgot about me painting my body.
I will never forget it. Listen, listeners, if you didn't see this video, did you post it on your page or on the pub page? Was it your page?
I posted on mine, but maybe we need a repeat. I'll post it on the pub page again.
Yes, please, because I watched that damn video at least 50 times It's so funny. It's
Oh,
amazing. So I can't ever like meet that standard of greatness, like the commitment and like the whole thing was perfect. I mean, my God, it killed me. So
I'm
yeah,
so
please
glad.
post that to the page so
I will.
if
It
people
needs a
haven't seen
repeat.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing. Melanie painted her body with the cover of Sinner's Isle, or tattooed, I
It
should
was a
say. You
tattoo, a
yeah.
temporary tattoo. Well, for I don't know if we ever said this on the pod, maybe really early on, but when we were in Pitch Wars together, I don't even know if you remember, we were like, when we get our books published, we'll paint our bodies and scream it from the rooftops. Now, I was very tempted to actually, my parents, you can go up on the roof of their house, but I was like, sounds like a health risk waiting to happen. Although it probably would have boosted your sales if I fell off their roof and died.
Okay. Well, that would have put a damper on things.
That's also why I didn't wind up jumping in the sea. I was like, love you, but not willing to like boost the sales in that way.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're here to talk about it still.
Yeah, the sea was angry that day. But yeah, I
Oh.
actually confess I did look into like proper body painting. And if I was your rich friend, I would have fucking painted my whole body.
No, I loved it as is because you gave sex appeal. You gave lustiness. It was perfect. A little off the shoulder, look back, hair flip. It was a moment. It was a freaking moment.
I have to tell you, there are deleted scenes that like would have sold a lot more books.
Oh, I need to see it. Actually,
Once I work out how to blur out nipples, we may have a bloopers reel. Yeah, but I'm really pleased you enjoyed that silliness. You can only a true friend will really appreciate the level of stupidity.
It was the best. It honestly was so freaking funny. Yes, and sexy too. I felt a little wow. Look at that. Look at her go. Look at her twerking in action.
Twerking the beach to sell books. I mean,
yes.
That's where we're at, isn't it?
That's where it honestly, yes, like that's exactly publishing.
I was this close to putting it right above my ass. The tattoo. I was like, oh, but like, how far do we want to go, Melanie?
Little tramp stamp action.
Little tramp stamp. Yes. But thank you for reminding me about that success. It's like, it's surprisingly hard to celebrate success. Like sometimes you think something's going to happen and this like oceans will shift and you'll feel so different. It's not really like that, is it? When you actually experience a success, you're still here grinding in the places to make things happen, Yeah. And yeah, but now I will take over for a moment and I would like to bring the conversation back because it's been a very, very exciting month for a certain person. And I want to hear everything about everything. I want to hear your favorite moments. I want to hear your favorite people that you met because it has been debut month for Sinner's Isle, none other than this glorious tome. And she is glorious. So we are so beyond lucky to have the author herself as our co-host. I say our co-host, but I know all our friends are like part of it at this point. So
yes.
How the fuck was
it? Dude, I don't even like, oh, wow. Yeah. Like that's all I could do. Like I think it was last night maybe or the night before was like the first night since debut where I really sat and like just thought about everything because it's been back to back one thing after another. So
yeah,
it's been everything. It's been like so many highs and so many not lows but like just fidgets like this so many nervous moments like I at one point I was like I don't know if my poor heart she's been through so much like it started on Halloween and it was amazing. And I got so much love and just like support right off, like bam, right off the bat. So much so I broke my Instagram.
You
It's
did.
still broken. I mean, I can't. So I was I was liking and commenting on like I was trying to like thank everybody who was, congratulating me.
Yeah.
And so I was just da, 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 da. And then after it was probably like 2 p.m. in the afternoon when Instagram, like a thing popped up and was like, for the safety of our users, we're gonna restrict your account. And I was like, huh? And it was because I was on it so much and liking and commenting, they thought I was like a bot. And so they restricted my ass
Oh.
in the middle of debut day, which I guess was kind of a blessing because it pulled me off of theirs a little bit. So it was hilarious and like
Yeah.
horrible, but more hilarious than anything. Like, of course, I freaking broke my Instagram.
She broke
Um,
her Instagram.
I freaking broke it. So for all of our listeners,
Did you break the
just
talk as well, or just did you break?
no, I didn't know because on TikTok, like I'm active, but I'm not like as much on there, I guess.
Okay.
Like I'm on there, but Instagram is like home, you know?
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I broke it. Still
She
broken.
broke it. It's kind
Yeah.
of like it's kind of like a crowning jewel. I know it's like it's frustrating as well, but like what a way to come into the industry, breaking your own internet.
Yeah. So dumb. Like how like really? Like how do you do this?
You're not dumb. Instagram's dumb. Like,
You're
also,
dumb.
what was the point of getting the blue tick if they're not going to protect you from this shit?
Thank you. I
Yeah,
agree.
you
I
did
agree.
nothing wrong.
I agree. I agree. I finally like spoke to somebody from
Oh,
Meta, like
yeah.
yesterday actually. I got like spoke to someone physically and they're like, yeah, like get off of there. Stop. So I'm not
They
I'm
chastised you?
well, no, she was laughing at me as well. Well, yeah,
Okay.
so she was laughing. Like, listen, this doesn't happen often. So so there's that. So take it easy on Instagram. So that was that. And then that night I did my very first book launch at like an indie bookstore called A Seat at the Table.
Mm.
And I was so freaking nervous. I was sweating and I was just like, oh, no one's gonna be there. Like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. I didn't, I was just like I was just in my head.
Mm.
And I was, oh, why did I do this? And you like all of our listeners know, like leading up, it's been the thing I was stressed out the most about was doing these things.
Yeah.
And it's like things that you think about doing, like when you first start writing, like, oh, it'd be so fun to do like a book launch event and like, meet the people and write and sign books.
Yeah.
And then you get there and it's like, oh no, this is so scary.
Mm.
So we were driving up there and it was Halloween. So it was just my partner and my son. My daughter was doing other things. And so I was just like rattling in my boots, like, ah. And I get there early because I wanted to make sure I was there on time and just to chat with everybody.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked in the bookstore, nerves are gone. Everything's wonderful because for one, like you've told me time and time again, bookish people just work a little different. Like we get each other, it's home, you're in a bookstore, you're fine. And then I saw Lyra Lewis, who we'll have to have on the show. She has her book coming out next year. And she's so chatty that she just like took over for me. And it was like, thank God. So I could be like fidgety and like trying to sign things and she just took over and like made sure
Oh, bless
we're
her.
good. Yes. And so and then it was like a full house for a little bookstore, you know what I mean? And my stepmom brought a bunch of her friends and one of her friends' daughters wants to be a writer. So it was like it was just so beautiful. And it was awesome. And so I was like, I had nothing to be worried about. I was like on cloud 9. this is so great. So
Yeah.
that was Tuesday, and it was beautiful, like just to be embraced. Deborah Crossland, like what was my in conversation. She was fabulous. The bookstore was fabulous. It was a perfect night. Great birthday, right?
Yeah.
It was perfect. And so I came home. That was Tuesday. I'm like recovering still
Yeah.
on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from socializing.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was my other book signing at Barnes and Noble. And for some reason, this one of like anything else that I did made me the most nervous. And I think it was
Really?
because it was my hometown.
Yeah.
I knew all my like friends and like family were going to be there.
Mm.
And for some reason that made me so nervous, like so
Yeah.
sweaty, so bad. And I was like, why did I do this? What am I thinking? I'm just like, I'm driving there by myself going like, wow, should I just turn around?
Right.
And and my friend Vanessa like sent me a podcast. It was talking about like, calming the nerves and like public speaking. And so I was just listening to that.
Yeah.
And then again, as soon as I get there and I see books and my people and bookish people and just chatting, perfect. And it was so special because it was with Margie Fuston.
No, of course.
And bless her, because she thought it was an hour, or she thought it was 2 hours later than what it was, or an hour later. And so luckily someone from her writing group had like posted or sent a message like, oh, looking forward to seeing you. And she was like, what? And so she ran out of her house and drove, and she made it just on time. Poor thing. I know she was probably a hot mess, because it's not like a fast drive to get from her house to Barnes and Noble. But it was so, she's just the best, Margie, she's just the best. And it was like the sweetest, most wonderful, like full circle moment to have her with me sitting there. You know what I mean? And like, and she's just Margie Fuston. Like, she's just the shit. She's the best. Yeah. She's so good. And she got emotional. I got a little emotional, just like thinking of our own journeys together. And it was really cool just looking out and seeing all my family and friends, and even and there were people from that liked that. Sorry, I got a little
I never apologize to me.
Thank you. There were people that listened to our show that came. Yeah.
But now I feel emotional.
Yes. And
so
how cool is that? Like,
it
I
blows
don't know.
my mind.
It me too. And I found quite a few people that have listened to the show throughout like this last few weeks. And so how amazing, right? And so that was a beautiful, perfect night. And of course, afterwards I was like, what was I thinking? Like, why was I so nervous? It's perfect. And then I got ready to go to to Charleston. And so of course, here comes the nerves again. Like, we're flying. Am I going to make it there? Do I know how to travel? Like, do I know how to switch planes? So here I go again, my poor little heart. I'm like leaving.
Was she a bit tight? Was she a bit?
Oh,
yeah, that chest pain is real.
Yeah, I honestly was like, at one point I was like, oh, I could probably have a full-on panic attack at any moment. Like, she was like revving up.
Yeah, that's real.
It was, honestly. And so my partner dropped me off because it was so early. It was like 4 a.m. And I was like getting a little emotional when I like left. I was like, okay, bye. And I just ran. And because I was like, oh,
it is emotional when you haven't traveled in a while. Just like that, I've always found the airport, and it's what I love about it as well. But I often have like a good cry when I'm flying somewhere.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was
Did
me.
you ever
Well,
cry on the
especially-
plane?
I had okay, let me tell you something. So I was there, right?
Yeah.
And I have my little carry-on and I go into the bathroom and I couldn't unlock the door.
Like when you went into pee.
Yeah. So, you latch it and I went and I got up and I could not for the life of me I couldn't get out of the door. And I thought, uh-oh, this is a sign. I should just cancel this. This is the higher ups telling me like, no.
Yeah.
And so I just had to shake and rattle the door because I wasn't asking anybody for help, but I just shook the door and it popped open and I went flying out. So
That's the start of a rom-com, I think.
I think so, yeah. But I made it and I actually had a really great time on the plane. Like it's just fun.
It is
I mean,
fun.
I'm sure a lot of people maybe don't think that, but it's fun to people watch.
Yeah.
And I was looking out the window and like the states it's just huge. It's a huge country, so we're just flying over shit. But yeah, so anyway, I'm just flying over
but I
shit.
know what you mean. It blows my mind. And I used to work as a flight attendant for 3 years, and it still blew my mind just looking out the window and like, there's the earth under us, thousands and thousands of feet down. Like,
it's humbling. It's really humbling. And then it's also kind of like, wow, like humans can do good things, actually. Like this is really cool.
Right.
That a human being could come up with something like this. And here we are like flying above all these other cool things that our humans are doing. So it's like really humbling and really awe-inspiring.
I agree.
But I get to Y'all Fest, and that night I meet Jill 2 for dinner. The world famous Jill 2, author of The Dividing Sky. It comes out next year. And she was awesome. Like what's I think is so fun about our podcast and like being on the Discord and just like chatting with people in general online, particularly bookish people. It's like when you do see them, it's like just normal. It just feels so comfortable and easy. And so we met, had dinner, like I can't remember. I think we walked around a little bit and it was great. And she's the shit. She's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the next morning we were going to get together and write a little bit, as writers do, at a coffee shop.
Ambitious at a festival.
But Jill, I know, but Jill, she works like that when she is on deadlines or whatever she's got to do, that girl works. And so I was going to meet her at a coffee shop. And as I was walking, because it's really cool, because it's all in this really old, beautiful town.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's so beautiful and historic. And it's all in one location. So you're just walking from your hotel to the coffee shop to the bookstore. It's so cool. And so I was just walking, minding my own business, and someone was like, Angela, and I'm just still walking like, Angela, somebody's calling you, and
that's me as well.
Yeah, I was like, anybody, is there an Angela around here? And but it was a reader, and so I signed books, and it was
like
just
a reader that you didn't know.
I didn't know her until that time.
Cool. That's so cool.
It was the coolest. It was amazing. And she brought her book out. She had it and I signed it and it was awesome. And then when I went to the coffee shop to meet Jill, Josh, who is a Instagram, what do you call them? Like a, Instagram, what are they freaking called? Anyways,
influencer?
Influencer for books. Bookstagrammer, thank you. And I met him and his mom at the coffee shop, and he had a candle of Sinner's Isle, and like, the candle is amazing. And then I met Jill again, and so it was just like all of these like fabulous, wonderful interactions. Smokey, stop it, Smokey. Sorry.
No, you're being a troll as well.
Yeah, Smokey, come here. Anyway, But it was like all of these like little moments of just magic. And then again the next day was like panel day where I was getting on the stage and I thought, oh no, why did I do this to myself? I am not capable. Like who thought this was a smart idea? And I was smoking, I'm talking. And so I was in the green room waiting for my first panel. And one of the publicity team was like, okay, Angela, you can go out on the stage. And I was like, okay. And I started walking, and it was just Stephanie Garber and Jason June, who I told you about, who is my favorite human being alive. It was just them on the stage at that point.
Wow.
And I told my publicist, I was like, I can't sit next to Stephanie Garber. Like, what are you doing to me? And she's like, no, go, it's fine. What do you mean? You belong here. Go sit next to Stephanie Garber. And so I sit, and she just immediately turns to me, and her and Jason just like tell me what they're talking about and like add me into the conversation right away. And we're just giggling and like I was like, wow. And then JL, who we've had on the show, sat next to me on the other side. And so it was just like, like bookish people are so kind. Writers are so kind. And Jason June really was one of those. He's got many books out, beautiful, beautiful books. And he like, anywhere I was, he would stop and talk to me and be like, hey, where are you going? Like, are you good? Like, where can I walk you some? Like, he was just the best human being alive. And I it was awesome. So many moments like that, like meeting Ines, and just like I'm probably drawing blanks on all the things, but Jill too, honestly, became like my momager that day, because I was frazzled, and she was like, okay, where are you going? I was like, I'm supposed to sign books. She's like, all right, let's go. I'll show you where to go. Let me find it. And then she was taking pictures for me, and she was like making sure the line, like she was everything. And so it was just like, I left there feeling so fulfilled and like happy. And every author, every reader I met was lovely. And I think that was more than anything, was just like how nice people were. Oh, Zoraida. So she was there.
Yes.
And so at the very beginning, there's like an author social where everybody gets together, just has drinks. And I was walking to go get drinks, and I hear Angela. And of course, I look behind me for Angela. There was no one there. And Zoraida points at me, and she's like, Angela. And I look behind me again, like just to double check. Like, okay, who is Angela? And she's like, Angela, get over here right now. And so she like hugs me, and like she's just the sweetest. And she was like another one that was just like always just checking, making sure, and
yeah.
Just awesome. There's so many
people.
Yes, there was so many like previous guests that were there. That was really fun. And so that was a blast, like hugging Paige and Hannah, Trang, like so many, which is really, really cool.
So cool.
Yeah. So I came home, recovered. Then I went to LA, and I met Nicola and David Yoon, who are my publishers for Joy Revolution. So that was like a out of body experience. I met Jessica Parra for the first time in real life. I got teary eyed, and then I don't even think she noticed. She just went right into talking about like her like shit or something.
That's so claim her shit queen title. She loves it.
Yeah. So I was like wiping tears while she's just chatting, and I was like, oh, thank you. Like those like those kind of people really do help you
100%.
like pull you out of your nerves.
Yes.
Because I was in like a frantic state, and she just came in and was like, no, let's just talk about normal stuff and like how everything's going, and pulled me right out. But the LA event was so special. I got to hug and see so many people that listen to the show, and have been following me for a while. My cousins came. It was beautiful. So I'm back, and I'm like, I feel so happy and like full and loved. I think like the community just like really held me throughout this whole thing, because I was so nervous about so many things. And each time I got so nervous, it feels like somebody popped in and just like pulled me out of it. So it was beautiful.
So special.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
So special. Shout out to those people who see. And you're also like very good about authenticity and stuff. And even on the show, the amount of times you and I have talked about like the anxiety side of things, the shy side of things. And I think those helpers, they listen and they see, and they like swoop in and talk about poop and like show you where stuff is. And I'm so grateful for those people, because they're the real MVPs or whatever. How do you say it? Yeah, MVP. Yeah. I was going to say the real VIPs.
That too. They're everything. And like, it was just a really cool experience to see like this community that we built here, and just like on Instagram, and just writers and readers in general are just beautiful, wonderful, warm, kind human beings. And so I'm so happy that I did it. I could do it. Yeah, you
did it. Yes, my queen. You did it. You fucking did it, friend. I know. It was like so like, I feel like because we talk every week and stuff, I feel like I was experiencing blow by blow, like when you told the story about like the anxious moments. It really is in the before. It's in the unknown, isn't it? And then once you're there, you flourish,
Yes.
But it's like the unknown. And sometimes it can be people who don't include you in the conversation. That's the scary part. But I think you're right. As a general, the community we're finding is so open-hearted and so warm, and it was just the perfect way to welcome this glorious tome into the world. And yes, my one devastation is that I couldn't be there to scream and squeeze you in person, but we screamed and squeezed each other pretty damn hard from afar. Did that sound weird?
Yes, that sounded so inappropriate, and I'm here for it. I loved it. We squeezed each other from a distance. Yes, we did.
Before I forget, how are we on time? Oh my gosh, I might have to do this next time. I was gonna try this one last thing on
try it real fast. Because
Paris said these are an icon, these Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Yes.
And she told me. So Angela sent me this, and this honestly, once again, the color is concerning. What is with that fluorescent color? But I don't know if you do this too. Para told me, hot take, I've got to have it with lime. Is that accurate?
I love. No, I haven't tried. I mean, I do it sometimes, but I love that.
She's a connoisseur, so I feel like I have to pay homage to our Mama Jo and try it with lime. Okay, just quickly. Okay, no, I love that. That is very Moorish. It's just hot enough to tingle my taste buds. Yeah, I will be finishing that after. And it's great with the lime. Thank you, Mama Japara.
That makes me proud. I am so happy that you like that. You are... Maybe you are American. You just didn't know it.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. We're gonna have to log back on because we haven't read the bio, and there's no way we can squeeze it in. I completely blanked out. So I'm just gonna we'll just do a quick 5-minute bio and close up moment. It was rough trying to squeeze this in anyway.
Yeah, I amateur hour over here. I can't believe I forgot.
Laughed so hard that snot just flew out of my nose.
Oh yes, lovely, beautiful, wonderful. So you liked your Cheeto?
Yeah, I finished that while I was waiting for. And I got so chatty. It's been like what, a month? Not even. And
Yeah.
we had a lot to talk about.
We got a little chatty. Yeah, I saw the countdown and I was like, wait, I haven't even got to the LA part yet. And I was like,
Okay,
I better fast.
no, that's what I was gonna say. If there's anything you've missed out, like I'm not in a rush. I really do want to hear it all, and I know our listeners do too. So if there's like, I don't even know if I asked you like what your favorite moment was, or like, I like.
I know. I'm sorry. I just started talking. I didn't stop.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And I could feel the timer in your head. You're like, shit, I've got to get to LA.
Yeah. I've got to hurry. No, I think my favorite, there wasn't a favorite moment. There was just like so many little moments that were so special. And they honestly, and all truly had to do with the people I got to see in real life and just hugging people that I've been chatting with online for years. And just to see them in real life. And I had brunch with Ines the day before I flew out of Y'all Fest. And the lady that was helping, our waitress, she was like, she was like, are you guys sisters? We're like, no, we actually just met each other for the first time in real life. And she's like, wow, you guys really just chatted this whole time so easily. I haven't seen something like that. So it was like, yeah. And it felt like that was so many interactions I had where it was just like, there you are. It wasn't even like oh my gosh. It's just like, we're here. Like, how cool is this? And so I'm sure there's so many more that my brain is blanking on, but truly, like last night or whatever night it was, I was sitting in the shower and I was just contemplating, and I was just like, wow, like I did it, and it was beautiful and it was wonderful. And so yeah, all the moments were good.
Yes. Honestly, it was just perfect. And just like seeing it on the other side of the gram was just as glorious. I was so emotional seeing you with like the people we're chatting with online. And like I often say to people, like, I was the biggest cynic of social media. And to be honest, I still can be. Like she still needs breaks from social media. But if you had have told me like a few years ago that I would meet some of my best friends online, I would have been like, that's not real. That's not a real thing.
Right.
But like, it is real. And you're right. Like when you finally meet people in person that you've had genuine interactions with online, it does just feel like the screen just was pulled away.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's exactly it. It feels so easy and comfortable. And yeah, so I wasn't sure how I would feel seeing people, or like if it would be weird, but no interaction I feel like I had it was all just natural and amazing. So happy I did it. Obviously, I had to talk myself into it a few times.
I appreciate you sharing it so raw and authentically, because like I don't think I'm alone or you're alone in like I can't remember who I was chatting to in DMs the other day, and we were just having a cackle because a lot of people assume that because we do the podcast that like socially we're super confident. Like it's a surprise to people that would be so overwhelming for both of us for like different reasons but similar reasons. And like I can't remember who it was, but they were just like, oh, literally they don't even have a book coming out yet, but they fret about in advance, like, will they be able to get through those kinds of things, which is like so relatable to me. That's like a constant thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, like when it comes, will I have energy for the book launches and the meeting everyone in person and whatever? So it's comforting to hear that you've like experienced that. And it is a manageable situation. It is like the bookish community does swoop in and just like, I've got your back, because a lot of them are overthinking, anxious types. And
totally. And that was also a thing, was like in Y'all Fest in particular, because there's so many people and it's so overwhelming. Like thousands of people, but for me, I would just go back to my hotel room when I was feeling like, oh, we're too much. And like I would just tell whoever I was with at that time, like, oh, I think I'm gonna go back and just relax. And they're like, okay, perfect. I'll see you
Yeah.
after. Like nothing. No, why not? Why would you leave? And it was just okay, bye. And so it's
Yes, because we've
nice.
all experienced the other type from different types of people who are like, why would you go? And you're like, because I need to sit in the dark for a while.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to fester.
No, like literally, like if I'm super overstimulated, I'll literally turn off all the lights in the house and I'll like pull the blinds over and I just like sit cozy. Nobody disturb me from my cocoon.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I have to ask you about my little parcel. I had the Cheetos, and then the other thing I had was this glorious magazine on the side, which
Yeah.
smells incredible. So I have to ask, I think I already know the answer. Is that like I sprayed that little parcel and we cackled about it.
Yes.
Did you spray the parcel?
Of course I did. I wasn't gonna just let it be stinky. I don't remember what I sprayed it with, but I have like a ton of like mist sprays from we have Bath and Body Works here, which
Yeah.
is just like candles and stuff. So I gave her a little
So it's
spray.
not daily Angela. It could be weekend or occasion Angela that I've got.
Oh yeah, I change by the minute. I am
I
spraying something
see.
new. Yes.
Why are you saying it like that?
I have no idea.
It's like you're a skunk spraying its brand.
Yeah, just little here there.
But seriously, I cannot wait to share this episode because I know our listeners are just like, I think Belinda was in the chat the other day. She was like, she's like, just wondering when a new episode's coming out so I can time my cleaning around it.
Heck yeah. I saw that. I love that. I love that so
love that
much.
too.
Yes.
But like we weren't
Good
meant to have
Belinda.
extra episodes, but I'm so glad we do. I didn't realize I needed it. I need
Yeah.
a pod.
Yeah. No, same. Because it feels like I look forward to this time and it's always just like a release and just joy. So yeah. I think we all just need this time of laughter and just like just shooting the shit.
And I think it's capturing like a little bit of the festival to bring with you because you probably will miss it a bit. Like even though it's so overstimulating being in those spaces, I find I often miss it once I'm out of them and things feel quiet again. And I'm just like, oh, I actually liked the noise and the mayhem and being able to tap into it and then retreat.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep the chaos going with the pod.
Exactly. That's what I was like, oh, we need to schedule more people because coming down from it all is like that. Just like with Pitch Wars. That's why we started this whole thing.
100%.
And it keeps the momentum going and just like, okay, we're staying in this world and reminding us that ourselves like stay here, stay writing.
That's what I was gonna say. Be kind to yourself if you do feel like a post event. You might not. If not, ride that high. But if you do, just be nice and gentle to yourself.
Yeah.
Now, like I can't say anything serious to you anymore. Before we forget, should we read the bio?
Yes, because this is another. Yes, and we don't want to miss out on this bio because Elle is an amazing human being and just like love her, love her book, love her vibe, the whole shebang, and our listeners really will too because she had so many amazing things to say.
It's so cool that she's a television producer. I wanted to ask her more about that, but we just got to chatting and like time evaporated.
It did. Well, we were busy chatting about blimps
and smooth Yodas.
Yeah.
Title of the episode: Blimps and Smooth Yodas. Have you looked it up yet?
No. No. I was over here just BSing on my phone. No, I need to look up.
That's why she's blocked.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't learn my lesson, apparently. Yeah.
Do you want to read this one?
Yes, of course.
Oh, I can if you want.
No, I got this, Melanie.
Got it.
I've got this. Wait, real fast, what's on your ears? Oh, are those your peace sign earrings?
No, these ones are this little vampire guy and a little monster person.
Okay, I think you've had those. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are so cute. I
The other
saw
ones
your
I made for my brother-in-law's girlfriend. She's got a tattoo of a
okay.
peace sign, and we had a cute little picnic the other day, and I was like wanting to make her some. I was like, oh, just trying to draw on some inspiration. She was like, oh, you could do this, and I was like, perfect.
Yes. No, it's cute as heck. Okay, cool. I did see that. I saw your guys' picnic, but I couldn't like or comment.
I know. You must
So
feel like in a bit of a straitjacket on when you come on Instagram.
yeah, I'm like, I see you. I
Yeah.
promise. But yeah, let's chat about our guest because
Yeah,
we could probably go for another 45
I
minutes, but we
know.
won't. Elle Gonzalez Rose is a television producer from New York who's better at writing love stories about short, queer Boricuas than she is at writing bios. Oh, that's awesome. She got me. She got me on that one. Her dog thinks she's okay. She is the author of Caught in a Bad Fauxmance, 10 Things I Hate About Prom, and The Girl You Know. Elle, not the dog, wrote those.
Ah,
She got me. She got me
that
again.
looks like even half as funny as her bio. Like
Yes.
it's an Insta buy.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Caught in a Bad Fauxmance is like that. Like, is
Yeah.
Elle's personality. It's hilarious and so freaking cute. So everybody buy it because it comes out soon.
Let's get
Let's
her
get
on.
Elle.
Hi, friends.
Hello. Oh my gosh, your background.
Oh
Where
God,
are you? Where are you?
this is not my. I mean, this is not my home. This is my parents' house. I just got here. I'm like, I know it looks like very like medieval almost. It's like this is a very misleading background. My usual background's like purple and pink, and now I'm in like got like this weird painting behind me.
It's a vibe though. Like
Yeah.
it's giving writer. You know what I
Thank you.
mean?
Yes, it is a classic, like very writer, not me writer, but very writer. There's like, I wish I could be in front of, there's a very nice bookshelf like to my left, but I can't. There's no desk there, so I have to sit here in front of the weird painting. So this is my dad's lair, and he was a writer. So
Yes, it is. It's giving dad's lair for
yes,
sure.
this
I
is
love
this is
that.
classic dad's lair.
That's so special. I love that so much. And is it dark green? The paint,
Yes.
like I love it.
It's a weird, like if you touch it, it's like rough. Like
Oh,
it's like almost like a mini golf course. I don't know how to
What?
describe it. It's strange.
By a random stroke of luck, Angela has dressed on theme to the wall.
There we go.
yes, we
Your
are in
plant is
our
looking lovely, by the way.
forest green era. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Elle?
I said your plant is looking lovely, by the way. She's
Thank you.
thriving.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for noticing.
One is fake. Can we just point out that the one that looks like it's thriving is fake, in fact.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend I never heard that. And
Yeah, thanks, Melanie. I really appreciate that.
Listen,
Getting a compliment, damn it.
no, I'm sorry. Our regular listeners would not have it. They know Shangela's plight. The one on the plant on the right has had a long career with our podcast.
Yeah, but she's alive, and that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
she's thriving too.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
what matters.
exactly. Well, I want to get right into because this is something new that we're starting. Or
Mm.
Melanie had started like we tried to ask a few random questions to our guests,
Uh-huh.
but we're gonna just dive in about random facts
Ugh.
about Elle Gonzalez Rose. Okay,
Oh my
we're gonna
God.
dig in.
I'm ready.
Dig in with only 3 that I could come up with because I guess I'm not very creative.
They were so good. Like I really had to think about it. And I even had to ask my mom and my partner. I was like, can you help me figure these? I was like, even I don't know. So I'm prepared. I did my research into myself for this.
Fabulous. That is so good. Okay. Well, this one is one that Mel came up with, which is what is the strangest thing you own?
Okay. This one in particular was so hard. So very good job, Mel. I had to ask everyone I know. And I came up with like 2 answers. One, which is I feel like not all that interesting, which is like I have a stuffed toy that I've had since I was a baby. And it's like at this point, I am redacted years old and it's just like a dirty piece of cloth at this point. But the one that I think is way more interesting is that my family actually in like a chest that is right on the other side of this room. We collect all of our teeth that fall out. And the whole intention is to make them into jewelry. Which I thought that was just a weird thing that my family did is like, well, not, I don't know about everybody's teeth, but my teeth are definitely in there. Like all my baby teeth are over there. I know, I've seen it. Like that wasn't even a bluff. They really kept the teeth. And they always said like, we're going to make them into earrings or whatever growing up. Never did. I'm still waiting on my teeth earrings. And then I watched the show one day at a time, and they had like a throwaway line in one episode where Rita Moreno was like, "You can't throw that away. That's your baby teeth that I'm going to make into jewelry." I'm like, "It's a Latino thing." I was like, I didn't realize it. I thought it was just us being weird. So, but I don't think I know that it's everybody.
I love that. No, I have my kids' teeth. So
okay, we're not alone. Okay, teeth keeping. So maybe it's not that strange, but I think it's fun.
Question. I need to know about the type of jewelry that's made from the teeth. Like, do they just stay whole?
I wouldn't know because I never got my teeth earrings.
Damn.
I don't actually know.
Yeah, I mean, I still have the kids in a box. I don't know what to do with them.
I need answers. Like, are they polished down into like little pearls, or are they like stuck together? I'm gonna need to Google this.
I always imagined it as like what you're saying, like polished down to more of like a pearl or like a weird gem, and someone's like, "Oh, that's so interesting. What is that? My teeth." You know, like that's what I pictured. But maybe it's a myth. Maybe they're not actually. It's just tradition to keep them, but never actually make the jewelry. Because I don't know anyone who actually has any.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out after the show. I think we're gonna have to learn, listeners. If anybody has teeth jewelry.
6 minutes in, and we already have a mystery to solve.
Yeah.
I have a random mystery that I have to ask about you. When I clicked your link tree and I scrolled to the bottom of the link tree, there is something called Smooth Yoda that I found. And I need answers. I have been cackling all morning since I found it, and I just need some explanation about it.
This is amazing because I've had that in my link tree since before my book deal. And it was just like, oh, you know, a link to my website and like whatever and Smooth Yoda. Like I've had that there since I first made that link tree. And I was saying the other day that I don't think anyone's ever going to notice Smooth Yoda, or at the very least not bring it up to me. And there really is no reason behind it. The Smooth Yoda is a meme that I've known and referenced for years. And when I first made my link tree, there wasn't enough for it to look impressive. Like it was just my website and my socials, and that was it. So I was like, I'm gonna put Smooth Yoda here. Like it'll like buff it out a little bit and make it look like it's fuller than it actually is. And at this point, I'm like, my link tree is full of stuff, but I don't have it in me to remove Smooth Yoda. It's like an Easter egg for anyone who scrolls all the way to the bottom. You can find Smooth Yoda.
A true treasure. I recommend all of our listeners find your page and scroll down to the bottom of the link tree. And when you need a pick me up, you must look at what is inside that link and where it leads you.
Go look at Smooth Yoda. Yes. He's smooth. It's great.
He's the best.
I'm gonna have to do this after the show. After I search up baby teeth, I'm looking right for Smooth Yoda.
And right to Smooth Yoda.
Yes, this is perfect. Okay, so what is something that you think about way too often?
Oh, I have the perfect answer for this because I do have something I always think about, which is the amount of blimps that are still left in the world. I was watching a random YouTube video completely unrelated to blimps, and the person was telling a story, and right in the middle of it, they were like, "Did you know there are only 25 blimps left in the world?" And I lost my mind over that. I was like, "What do you mean? How is that possible? There can't only be 25 blimps." If you Google the words "how many blimps are left," the word like number 25 just shows up. And I bring that up at any opportunity that I can possibly get because I think it's so fascinating. And I've looked into blimps. I've confirmed this. Like, how many blimps are there? There are indeed 25 blimps left in the world. It was to the point that it was almost in my official author bio that went in the back of the book, but I was like, I don't think I can make it work. I think I have to lose the blimps. So
amazing. Well, I think you're gonna have to write a book
about blimps.
Yeah.
I considered putting it in my second book, but it just didn't pan out. There are only 25 blimps, so it's a logistical nightmare.
I'm just going to need clarification that a blimp is in fact those like giant airships that float through the sky. Okay, I wasn't 100% sure. I don't know
What did you think it could be, Melanie? What did you think it could be?
That's a good question.
Like those, I pictured those things at the car sales that are like, woo.
Okay. There's more than 25 of those.
There's got to be.
Sure.
That would be crazy. That would be wild if there were only 25 of those guys. The floppy airmen.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen at least 25 at the dealership, at least.
Any
Okay,
good
well,
deal.
they've got to have twerking on the freeway. Okay, Elle, what's your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream is the Tonight Dough by Ben and Jerry's, or anything chocolate if it's not Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah. Okay, good. We can remain friends. I'm happy to hear that.
Phew. Thank
Yes. God. Anything chocolate, I feel good about. Thank you.
Anything chocolate.
Yeah. Well, did you, okay, well, now that we know so much about you, I feel like we really did learn quite a bit about you.
It's really set the tone for everything else that I'm about to say.
It did. I feel like we know a lot. I think we could just end this here, but we won't. Elle, did you always know that you wanted to be a writer? Like, give us a little backstory on your writing journey.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking about this earlier today, how it's really hard to say, oh, like, when did you first want to start writing? Because I've wanted to write my whole life. Because I started when I was in kindergarten. So that was probably when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I started writing short stories in my class, and God bless my kindergarten teacher, Miss Tolentino, if she's listening, who read one of those short stories and was like, oh, you should keep doing that. That's a good passion to have. So it's been something I've done my entire life. It was mainly fan fictions when I was a kid because I couldn't come up with my own stories. I just wanted to rewrite the endings to other stories because I didn't like the endings. So I was like, I'll do it myself. Then as I got older, it became short stories. It became longer stuff that I didn't quite finish. And I eventually, after a long and arduous process that I can talk about later, eventually decided to study creative writing in college, which is what led me to kind of take writing more seriously. But then even then, that still took several years after I graduated from college to really start pursuing it officially. So I always say, even though Fauxmance is the first book that I attempted to get published, it has been a very, very, very long journey in the making to get to that point, because I've been doing this my entire life.
I love that. I love that it was like all the way back in kindergarten.
Yeah, it's like, I can remember that short story. I can remember the little cartoon of a horse that I drew on the cover page, because back then I also wanted to be an artist. So
yes, I feel like that creative bud is in us some. That sounds really wanky. That creative bud is in us somewhere. But yeah, there's always, we gravitate to those areas, don't we? Like, and I remember feeling like just so fascinated and in awe of the arty folk and having no clue that I like not feeling allowed to be one. But I'm like, no, you always gravitate towards it even early on.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I'm still intimidated by like people who are really good visual artists. I find that so intimidating, or like really good singers. And it's, at the end of the day, we're all artists, but I think that we're sometimes like so quick to put ourselves into our niches. Like, I'm a writer, I can only like hang out with other writers, but like the process of being drawn to creativity is so similar across people that we do have a lot more in common, but it's very easy to feel, or at least for me, to feel intimidated by other artists. Or consider myself an artist. But
yeah, no, that's true. That's relatable as hell. What made you start, like, take the plunge to query your book?
I think that there just came a point where I had fallen out of love with writing after I graduated from college, because I think there's something about being graded for your work that really puts a lot of tension on your relationship with writing. And especially for me, I felt like in college, I didn't have a lot of freedom to write what I wanted to write, which is fluffy rom-coms and just like stuff that's very funny and romantic was like my bread and butter. And I felt like a lot of the time I was being kind of pushed towards writing things that are darker and about more traumatic things, either fictionally or that have happened in my own life. And that wasn't something I was totally comfortable with. And I write it, when I want to, but it was not really what I wanted to write at the time. And it really soured my relationship with writing for such a long time. And it took, I think, maybe like 3 or 4 years to rebuild my relationship with writing and going back to what I loved, which is writing romance, which is why I wrote fan fiction at first, because that's all about writing what you want to write, because there's no pressure to, do what other people want you to do. You can kind of just do what you want to do for fun. And that showed me that I can write about whatever I want. I can write about romance. It's one of the most popular genres in the world. And I that was the push really to write the book, and then to eventually query, was finding that comfort in what I think that I'm best at and writing the story that I wanted to tell. And from there, I was, like, okay, I'm writing all this fan fiction. I should try something serious. I've always wanted to write a book. Now's the time. I've polished my craft. Let's see how it goes. And I'm very lucky that it went well.
Yeah, I think it went pretty good for you. I'd
Thank
say
you.
it's been a good time.
Yeah, it's pretty well so far.
Yeah. Do you have any like querying tips for our listeners? Because I know we've got a lot of querying listeners, and it's always fun to hear,
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
Melanie.
I think it's the same advice that a lot of people give, but I think that to me, if I could go back, this would be the biggest thing I would tell myself is to keep your eyes on your own paper while you're querying. So I think that you were just going to put yourself through so much mental anguish if you were comparing yourself to others, because no one's publishing journey, as you can tell from the various people that you have on the podcast, nobody's journey is linear. There is no like ABC that you have to follow to get a book deal, to get an agent, whatever. It can all just be so different. And I always say that, me and someone else could both be writing a queer YA rom-com, send it to the same agent on the same day, and they could offer rep to one and reject the other. And it's not an indication of the quality of your work. Could be the mood that they were in, or maybe they just read a book that was somewhat similar to yours, so they weren't feeling it, or they really gravitated towards one very specific thing in the other book. And it's really just not an indication of you or your writing or your success. And I think it's very easy when you have nothing really to hold on to as a measure for your own success or what's going to happen to you. You just kind of glom onto others that are around you. And I know that was a detriment to me, and it made me so much harder on myself when I was querying, when I really didn't need to be. Overall, my querying journey was, I'm very lucky. It was very painless, all things considered. And I was still took it very hard on myself because I was like, well, but you didn't get this and you didn't get that. And you didn't wind up with 1 million offers from every single agent on the planet. And you didn't get an offer in 24 hours in a lightning major deal. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your journey is the only one that matters. And you got to just focus on what you're doing and focus on your own craft.
You have no idea how much you're speaking to not just my heart, but my fucking soul right now. Like I have chills actually what you've said, because it's so relatable to me, specifically in this moment in time, about kind of feeling like that if I tapped into a darker side of my writing, that it seems to be opening up a pathway, but also feeling like it's stealing a bit of my joy. So I wanted to ask, how did you like claim that for yourself? How did you like find your joy again in your writing?
Yeah, I think it's so tough when you're in the query trenches and you're looking at like the trends and what is doing really well and things like that. What books get snapped up in those lightning deals? And it's so easy to feel like, oh, but if I did this, like maybe this would lead me in the right direction. And I think that for me, it was when the words flow, the words for me, because I write I'm not every single day. I take the weekends off, but I write every day. And it was like, but for me, words always come naturally when it's a story that I want to tell. And I know when I was in college, I had a very hard time actually finishing anything because I was not necessarily telling the story that I wanted to tell. And when it stops feeling fun is when I know I need to really reevaluate what it is that I'm working on and go back and say like, okay, this is not fun anymore. Writing is not my full-time job. It is, a very professional hobby. It's my side job. So I always tell myself when I embark on a new project, if it does not spark joy, it's not the project that I want to work on, because I don't think that it's worth the amount of work that you're going to put into a book, the amount of editing that you're going to do, the amount of time you're going to spend with those characters, if you do not feel like you really, really love the project and feel like this is the story that you want to tell. And I think that sometimes that can be very difficult depending on what you're writing about. It's a question I've asked myself a lot of times, like, is writing this story worth it? Like, is writing queer Latina characters worth it when you deal with a lot of kind of pressures from the publishing industry and whatnot? Thankfully, Angela and I are at an imprint that embraces that, but that's something that I'm sure other authors with those similar marginalizations might be able to relate to. But it sometimes feels very hard to hold on to your core values and be like, I want to write this story that sparks joy in me. And it's easy for me to say because I'm on the other side with the publishing deal. So I sympathize with those that do lose that spark and feel like sometimes they have to go to what the market says or, kind of compromise on what it is that they want to do. But I think it's always important to remember when making those choices, how long you have to spend with this project and knowing like, it's not like, oh, I can just slide it off my desk after like, 6 months, I'll write it, I'll bang it out, it'll be gone. Who's like, no, even my fastest book, like I will spend over a year and a half with like, you were going to be with that project for a very, very, very long time. And you have to evaluate, is this something that I want to spend a very, very long time with?
Yes, that's it, right? That's the truth. Because it really is. I mean, multiple revisions, the whole bit. And, just talking about the book, coming on podcasts and doing launch events, whatever it is, talking about your book. So it's like you got to love what you put out there and the characters and feel like it's this like a worthy thing to talk about, like what you're trying to say in the book is worthy of people's time too. So but speaking of worthy books, amazing books that bring you joy, Caught in a Bad Fauxmance is that book. It is, oh my God, it is so sweet and funny and like parts of it are ridiculous. And I loved every single second of it. Can you tell our listeners a little bit what it's about?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's ridiculous, just like you said. I love when people use those adjectives to describe it, and it warms my soul because that was the goal.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. So, Caught in a Bad Fauxmance is a queer YA rom-com about an aspiring artist who has had a not so hot first semester of college at art school, and he goes back home to his home in Florida. They decide to go to this lake cabin for one last winter break. This is a cabin that they would spend like their summers and their winters at, and it's got bittersweet memories because it was something that they used to do a lot with their late mother, but she has recently, or somewhat recently, passed away. So they're going to go and say goodbye, farewell to the cabin before they finally sell it because they just don't have the money to hold on to it anymore. And while they're there, hijinks ensue because they have this rival family that they feud with every single year because they get into all these petty bets with them over this lake competition is there, and they're being as annoying as ever. And it gets even more complicated when the middle son of the rival family decides that he needs a fake boyfriend and comes to the main character and begs him to be his fake boyfriend. So it's a complicated plot, but that's a little taste.
We love a fake boyfriend plot, like anytime.
Fake dating, rivals to lovers, all the good stuff. That's all you need to know.
Yes. What inspired you to write it?
It was a combination of two things. One, which is a little odd, which is I am a television producer, so I watch quite a lot of television and movies for work. And I had to watch the movie Cheaper by the Dozen 2 for work one day. And I was like, this would be a great rom-com, like rival families at a lake. And not that people bring up the similarities, but people who do are like, oh, you were really inspired by Cheaper by the Dozen 2, which is so it started with that. I was like, oh, that's such a fun idea. Like that would be a really cool rom-com, but I didn't do anything with that thought. Then I went to a lake in the Poconos with my family, and they are very big on having families like come over every summer and every winter, and there are different cabins along the lake. And they said, oh, you can either stay here at this lodge or you can rent all of these cabins. And we have this lakeside community where we play games and we do little competitions, and they have like pictures of everyone on the wall. And I thought that was so fascinating because I grew up in a city. I did not know that was a thing. I was like, this is the cutest little thing. If my family was here, we would be petty as hell. We would not be doing all this like pleasantries and whatnot. We would be getting down to business. So I thought that was such a cute idea. And then I finally visualized it, like by actually seeing what this setting could look like in real life. And it all just kind of built from there.
That's so freaking fun. Like I love pulling from inspiration from movies and from life, but like I feel like and I think we've talked about this on the show, but like pulling from the things you love and not just books. Like when I like queried Sinner's Isle, I used some books, but I also used movies that I really, really loved. And because movies are just great and shows are just awesome. So it's like pull from it. Why not?
Yeah, why not? The world's limitless. I also used Schitt's Creek when I queried as my comp. I didn't think that Cheaper by the Dozen 2 would go over as well as Schitt's Creek. So, but
it's a little niche.
A little, just a little.
I mean, I don't know if I knew there was number 2, but I definitely grew up watching number 1.
I didn't know there was a number 2 either.
Now I
watched-
have to watch it. Is it Christmas themed?
No,
Damn, because
this is
I'm trying to load
yeah.
up my Christmas movies to watch to start bringing in the Christmas joy. I see Angela's ahead of us with her background. I'm living
right.
for it, bringing the festive joy.
There you
Yes,
go.
we live for it.
I highly suggest Last Holiday with Queen Latifah. That's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Watch it every year. 10 out of 10.
Ooh, okay. I don't know if I've seen that one. Okay,
Oh, me
well,
neither.
now, yeah.
I recommend it.
There's so many that like, I mean, you know, you've got the classics, right? We've got the classics you have to watch or at least have on in the background while you're doing things.
Right.
But now I need some new ones. So that's a good, maybe
What-
cheaper by the dozen too is a New Year's.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's summer in the movie, but you know, work it in and think of Caught in a Bad Fauxmance, which takes place during Christmas. So that's the connection. That's never a Christmas movie.
Yeah, Angela, what's your classic
Christmas
Then
movie?
there's the classic. What's the go-to?
Ooh. I mean, Home Alone, I feel like Elf is a
Elf, yes.
fantastic. It'll make me
Elf is
laugh
like
every
the top
time.
tier.
I think so. I think Elf is top tier.
I agree.
Yeah. It's just too good. It's too good.
Yeah, it's like my Christmas identity.
Yeah. I love that. I love that for you, Melanie. Okay, so I know Elle, you have two other books in the work right now, right? Or how many? Oh,
Now.
she's
Yeah.
got a million. Elle has a million books in the works at this very moment. How has it been like juggling all the things? What is your
Hard.
experience been? Yeah.
It was unexpected. I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful that I have two other books that are announced that are in the works. And I have some other stuff that I'm working on as well. But it was a lot, especially because the third book that was announced is a thriller, and it is 100% different. My second book is also YA rom-com, which comes out 6 months after my debut. And that third book is so completely 100% different from everything else that I've ever written. But my second love is thrillers. I love anything like murdery. That's most of the books that I actually read are thrillers because I like to read the opposite of what I'm writing at any given time. Because I find if I read rom-coms when I'm writing a rom-com, I'm like, this one's so much better than mine. I can't read it. It's so so I've been reading a lot of thriller. Well, now I'm reading a lot of rom-coms actually because I'm working on the thriller. But it was strange to kind of ping pong that voice because the voice of my main character in my thriller is very dark and very gritty, and she's kind of like to the point, and like some would describe her as like a feral girl and whatnot, and then to go to like haha he's so cute like that kind of vibe was a little strange, and especially to write like about emotions in such different ways, to go from like writing about rage and grief to going to writing about first love and something very tender is wild, and also making sure that I don't put any jokes in the thriller, or not as many jokes as I should because it'll ruin the moment, was funky. And also just juggling all the deadlines all at once was a lot. But what was very helpful is that they're always at different stages. Like I started writing that thriller, it took me like a year and a half to write because I was just on and off working on Fauxmance and then my second book for so long. So I was like, I never up until now have not really sat and worked on it for a very long time. Has been nice. And then, you know, everything's at a different stage. So one project I'm drafting right now, I'm editing the thriller. My second rom-com is in past pages. So that works to keep everything a little bit separated. And I also never work on two things at the same time. So it's like the second I finish one thing, I'm like, shoot, go. That's like, I always send things back early because I'm like, I just don't want to see this again. I need to work on something else now. So getting things off of my desk as fast as possible so I don't think about them and I don't mess with them. So
That's good advice. I think working on two projects is a bad idea as well.
Yeah.
Your brain
just
is like,
yeah, some people can do it and
yeah.
I commend them. I could maybe do like an adult rom-com and a YA rom-com at the same time because it's like just a slightly more mature voice, but like a very mean girl to like a very happy person is like I can't do that.
Yes.
That's hilarious. It seems like you should write the thrillers in that layer that you're in now, and then when you're writing your rom-coms, go back home.
My purple background. Yeah, I should have been in the purple background for this interview. When I talk about the thriller, I'll make sure I'm here in my spooky room.
Yes. Well, I want to ask, what's what do you think has been the hardest part of this writing journey for you?
I think, there's always that concern of like, what will people think? And a weird part of that is that I chose very early on to not read any reviews, except for like trade reviews. So I've had Goodreads blocked for months, and there's always that. I don't know what goes on there. So I haven't read any reviews. I tell people like, don't tell me anything I don't want to know. And so I was like, I don't know, the book could be like have a 2.1 and I wouldn't know. And that's fine. But I think that part of that is also that you don't see anything. That means that because you don't see the bad, you also don't see the good. So you can kind of you're just left on your own to think like, I'm in this void of not knowing what anyone thinks. And that means that the only judgment I have of this book is my own, and I can be hard on myself. So that part I think has been very difficult. Like just the way that I think everybody is so hard on themselves. If there's one thing I've learned from debut, it's that everyone's so much harder on themselves than they need to be. And feeling all this pressure that it needs to do super well, that it's make or break, that it's this, that it's that. There's a lot of pressure in that realm. And also, working on other books, there's also that pressure of like, is this similar enough to my first book? Is it not? Is it going to disappoint people? Are people going to like it more? If things ad infinitum. But overall, blocking Goodreads was a good choice.
Yeah, good, very, very healthy, very smart. No regrets on that. Good job. Very good. What has been the best part so far of your journey?
I think, well, one, just the book being published. I always say that I am so, so grateful because I wrote this book for me. And then the revision process has been making it for everybody else and making it a more pleasant reading experience for other people. So the fact that it's happening at all is still wild to me because I've wanted to be a writer my entire life. And now I'm not just a writer at my day job. I get to be a writer at night too, writing books, which is something that was so out of the realm of possibility for me for such a long time. So that has been really rewarding, just knowing that it's going to be a book and this thing that I've wanted since I was a little kid is going to actually happen. And, it's something that my parents thought that would happen forever. So like being able to share it with them and show them like, oh, like your hard work, all your hard work to get me here was, paid off. Like we did it. It was really a collaborative effort, has been so rewarding, but also the little bits of good, like the little bits of good reviews that trickle in are so meaningful especially when it's someone who can really relate to like some of the themes in the book. Like that means the world. And I think it's something I hope that I get to see more of in my other books, but knowing that it connected with another person is wild. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. The community that we have in this, that's like what keeps me sane in the industry. Just like knowing that we're all these kind of like, it finds your people in the end. If you're doing it authentically, you find your little community.
Yeah, I would say that's another very rewarding part is the community of people that you meet, like the writers, like meeting Angela, obviously, like amazing. The amount of people that I've met has just been amazing to actually have writer friends.
Yeah. I honestly, it's always the same thing I keep going back to. It's like the best to like find people that really understand you and like what you're trying to do in life. And it's beautiful. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been so fun watching your journey, and like here we are, you're about to debut, so it's so freaking exciting. Like I'm so happy I'm done, and now I get to watch you and celebrate you.
I was excited to watch you first. I said I got to watch you go, and I was like, okay, good. I know someone who did it.
Yes, we can do it. We can freaking do it.
We can do it. I'm going last.
Yeah, you're it. You are the grand finale, which is awesome because your book is such like a perfect book to like grand finale with. It's so freaking fun. Okay, I want to ask our favorite question, which is looking back at all you've accomplished, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself before you started this journey?
Oh, such a good question. If I would go back to 5-year-old Elle who wrote that short story, I think I would say the same thing that my kindergarten teacher told me, which is keep going. And if I could add a little bit more to it, it would be always write what your heart wants to write. There's nothing wrong with it. So it's what led me to all the success that I have is writing the stories that I wanted to write. So there's nothing wrong with what you want to write.
That was beautiful. And it's not on the list, but I've just remembered it. Do you have like any favorite quotes that you like reflect on as you go through things?
Oh my gosh. Like from my book or just like
Oh,
quotes?
either
Oh
or
God.
favorite book quote or like favorite inspirational quote, just anything.
Oh my God. I'm so bad at remembering quotes.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is
Melanie is like a quote like Britannica. This
Oh my God.
girl knows quotes. She could pull them out of her ass at any
That's
second.
impressive.
Yeah,
That's
it's impressive.
impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to cheat because it's one of the very few quotes that I actually remember. And I don't even remember it perfectly. But my dad, who sadly passed away while I was working on the book, was a poet. And I have been reading a lot of his poetry over the past several, years since he passed, especially as I've been working on my work and like reflecting back on his writerly journey and whatnot. So I think one of the quotes that I think about a lot, and I don't know the exact quote, which is bad on my part. But he wrote this poem shortly after I was born about because he was sick a lot of my life. And he knew in this poem, it was kind of about how he knew that he would probably pass away when I was somewhat younger, like, before he could see me get married or have children, which unfortunately is what happened. But he had this line that he's like, I'm going to entrust her journey to people, and I hope that they love her the way that I've loved her. And I think that that's such a beautiful quote because, like, especially during this time where I'm so grateful for my family, like not just my immediate family, but my extended huge family, who have all kind of known that this was going to come for a long time, even when I didn't believe it was going to happen. And I am surrounded by so many people who are so wonderful and have been such a critical part of my success in my life by supporting me and encouraging me. So I think that's my favorite quote because it really is emblematic of like what the journey was, which was that I trusted other people and other people lifted me up and helped me get here. And it was through their support that I was able to do everything that I do and live the life that I have. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I was getting, yeah.
Thank you. I wish I could remember the actual quote, but
No,
it sounds a lot better than what I said.
No, you did it perfect justice. It was very very special to hear.
Thank
Now,
you.
on a lighter side, what do you do for fun when you're not writing?
I love video games. I'm a video game girl. If anyone has ever played those point and click Nancy Drew games from the like early 2000s, that is my stuff. Like I'm sitting in front of my mom's computer. I'm going to play them as soon as we hang up here. I'm going to go play those video games. I just love video games. And I even considered applying to like a video game writer job. And I was like, let me not. That's my one joy that I have that's not writing. So
yes.
keep it separate.
Yes.
Have
right?
a hobby that's not monetized.
Yes.
Yes.
Honestly,
That's my other piece of advice.
it's such good advice. And like every time I start a new creative venture and people are like, you should make a little business out of it. Like I'm also sometimes I'm at that point where I'm just like, that
no
one is
businesses.
sacred. We're not going to try and make money out of it.
No more hustle.
It's true. And it's me telling her that, even though my brain is like, stop saying that, bitch. It's not about the hustle. It's about the joy and having fun and like, right? Because we started writing for fun and then it became something else. And so, yes, you keep your video games sacred.
I'm not going to girl boss. I'm going to girl lazy. There we go.
Yes. Here's to more of that. Here's to more. I think I'm probably going to destroy it now, but a favorite quote I did share recently was like oh, for fuck's sake, I can't remember it. Rest more, work less. Rest
more, work less. That's good, Melanie.
Yes, I see we have asking how. Oh, sorry, go. I'll say it later.
I know Melanie's about to go on a tangent, but I see we have less than a minute to go, and I know how she is, so I have to interrupt this bitch. I have to stop her from herself. But Elle, honestly, this has been so fun. It went by way too freaking fast. I am so excited for you. I can't wait for the rest of the world to read your book. Everybody needs to read Caught in a Bad Fauxmance. It's hilarious. I love it.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. You both are amazing. Read Sinner's Isle. If it cuts me off, I want that to be the last thing I said.
There she is.
There she is. She's too far. I need to shuffle back more. But thank you so much for coming on. It was seriously like food for the writer's soul.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay.